Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast, where we talk about video games and more. I'm your main host for tonight, Brewer, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Connor.
Hello.
So, how have you been, Connor?
I've been doing great, man. I finally was able to save up enough and I got my dream car.
That's great, man. I'm really happy for you. Oh, what is this?
Oh my god, Brewer, it's Kirby! Hey Kirby, how you doing, little dude?
Yo, he's on top of your car. Isn't that adorable?
Aw. You wanna ride in my car, Kirby? Wanna take it for a little spin, bud?
Oh my god, he's eating your car.
No! Please! It took me so many years to save up for that, Kirby.
Well, hey, look on the plus side, Connor. You just got upgraded to a Kirby.
But my Toyota...
Who cares about your stupid Toyota? The Kirby GPS already has this Forgotten Land loaded up. Let's hop in and go.
True, which brings us to the topic of today's video, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. A I would say a very important recent Kirby game.
I'd say probably one of the most important Kirby games in a while, if not the most important Kirby game. Because unlike a lot of other franchises, when like the Nintendo 64 came out, like Zelda, Mario, that like they had their transition to 3D when it was first possible, Kirby has been putting this shit off for like a long time. And other than like a couple of spin-offs, I think, like Blowout Blast, this is truly the first 3D Kirby game we've ever had.
Kirby's just like me.
Mainline one.
Yeah, Kirby's just like me, procrastinating to the last second.
I mean, he's a sleepy little guy. It's all right.
Yeah.
The Wii stops gods and stuff. So compared to you, Connor, I don't really know if there's a good comparison there.
As far as you know, personally, I kill gods every week.
Devourer of gods, Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh lordy. Well, other than Connor's interesting hobbies, let's talk about our main hobby of video games, and that being Kirby today in the Forgotten Land. We're just going to be talking about, like, first of all, how it was a great transition of Kirby from 2D to 3D, how they upgraded the series in general, some new stuff they implemented, the copy abilities that we always love, the new gimmicks like the mouthful mechanic, that, and just all the amazing levels and world of game and more in this episode of Fetch Quest. So first, I just want to talk about like how interesting it transitioning into 3D is, especially for like level design and just like how you move in the game. Because like we've been used to just like very similar feeling Kirby games, at least with all the most recent ones. Like Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot, those felt very samey other than like their mechanics and the levels. Similar to Star Allies as well. Like how Kirby has had a smash ability in about all the past games, just because it feels so similar to how you move in Smash, you know, Connor?
Yeah, exactly. I completely understand that. I haven't played too many Kirby games myself. Like I think I've played a few of the like very like early ones, like some of the first ones, like Kirby's Dream Land and stuff like that, like the originals.
Yeah. Then you finished Planet Robobot quite recently, didn't you?
Yes, great game, which we will probably do a video on sometime. But I think besides that, in this game, those are the only Kirby games I've played. Which but I can definitely get that samey feeling from of like what you're talking about.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's like a sense of familiarity. It's not like changing things up every time you go around. It's like this is gonna seem like a very weird comparison, but it's the same things of like Souls games and how like they have the like very similar like like movement and like base gameplay and stuff like that. But where it differentiates is like with the different weapons and shit you can find. It's very similar to Kirby, where it has the same base gameplay, but due to the gimmicks and stuff that are found in each game, it like changes up the gameplay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a bit more than that, because I I played Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, and like, while I would consider Elden Ring like Dark Souls 4 with how similar it felt, especially when I played Dark Souls 3, I found like the Uji Katana, and I was like, wait a second, this is the starter weapon in Elden Ring. Why is it here?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but I definitely know what you mean. So like Kirby getting this big of an upgrade out of nowhere it was really refreshing.
Yeah,
Especially just like the way you move around into 3D space. Like there's some things that like okay feel obvious, like just running still feels about the same, the jumping, whatnot. But there's a couple other things they implemented as well. Like in older Kirby games, whenever you did is a float, you could like float infinitely, but I think they realized during development that would absolutely break a 3D game if you could just infinitely keep going up, even with its more restricted level design. They made sure to like you would eventually run out of breath as Kirby and fall down slowly, so that you can just like avoid all the obstacles like you could in a lot of the 2D Kirby games.
Yeah.
Since I think the 2D games did do a good job of like they made sure you couldn't always just exploit the level by flying over everything. Like a lot of times you'd be in more enclosed spaces and like facilities and stuff to where like you would have to like go through some of the enemies naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But the 3D games, you can't just have everything be a big building to solve for that. So
yeah, exactly. I really like the level design of this game. I think it's very they're able to do a lot with the like new 3D well, I guess like just being able to literally having access to a whole nother dimension now in terms of like level design. And I think they do a really good job of like bringing over like the classic Kirby feel while also having new exciting stuff in 3D.
yeah, I mean they did. I feel like all the Kirby games, even though you could easily beat these levels just by like go straight to the end, all of them like at least they do that good blend of like younger players can just blast straight to the end, like older players who want to like do more of it can still get enjoyment through like extra challenges, extra like time missions. That and a lot of the older games had collectibles like Planet Robobot had the code cubes you would collect by like solving little puzzles that weren't a part of like the main portion. But
Yeah.
this game, you're in a forgotten land because the story is like really simple, like any other Kirby game. Big Bad comes in while Kirby's like taking a nap for the 50th time, sucks up everything. Kirby gets involved in it, and now he's got to throw hands with a bunch of different bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Kirby plot. But in this one, they're in this forgotten land, and a lot of the Waddle Dees were just kidnapped and like. Yeah, you fucked them up in a lot of the past games, but they're your homies from literally an entirely another world. So now you're trying to save them so you can like rebuild a small little home in the Forgotten Land, and that and potentially get home as well. So in the levels, you'll find a lot of like hidden Waddle Dees, which are going to incentivize you to explore the level more than you would. But that, and also with the new 3D environment, they implemented a lot of extra challenges as well. So in some of them, like there's wanted posters. You don't want to be wanted, so you just take them all down because that's how it works. Some of them require you to like fight enemies with a specific copy ability. That or to if you're in like this little like vehicle portion, maybe like not fall off or collect a bunch of star tokens or something in portions. All of them just incentivizing you to what's the best word for this? Just interact with the level on a
Yeah, I
deeper
was gonna say
scale.
like explore and just try out different stuff. And I really like this system because it rewards you because like if you in order to unlock more levels, because you do have to unlock the levels by doing like freeing more of the Waddle Dees or getting these extra challenges. If you the more of these you get, the more like little side levels you can unlock, and those side levels are very important because they allow you to get upgrades to your abilities. And this is something I feel like we should sort of talk about, like I guess like we transition to of like how they've changed up the copy abilities and like how they work in this game.
Oh yeah, a lot of it is like still the same, but obviously with it being in 3D, they had to change up all the copy abilities, so like even the old ones feel new.
Yeah,
But they also still have a couple of new ones that they designed specifically to work well in a 3D environment in ways that just wouldn't really work well
yeah.
in 2D.
The like it's a bit of a trade-off. You get a lot of like cool new changes to classic ones, as well as a few cool new original copy abilities, but the trade-off is that like there are a lot fewer copy
Yeah, I
abilities.
think this game had like what 12 in total.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
not a lot.
which is like more so like 10, because like one of them is just like the obligatory nuke ability Kirby has in every game,
Hmm.
where you just press a button, you get one crazy big attack that does a lot of damage, but you lose the power after using it.
And then the other is,
And then the sleep ability, which is there to be funny, but in their defense, they did actually make it a bit more useful in this game. You regain health when you use sleep. Then if
yeah,
you upgrade it, Kirby even pulls out a whole ass bed out of nowhere, which is pretty fucking funny. So,
literally Minecraft Steve.
literally. Hey, they should
But,
have added the Minecraft ability from Smash into the game.
true. But now you might be thinking like only 12 abilities? Like that's not a lot at all, but as I mentioned earlier, a very big part of this game is the fact that you can find these scrolls in these side levels that allow you to upgrade your copy abilities. So, at first you start out with like, sword. It's the basic, recognizable Kirby sword ability. He's got like the little Link hat on, but if you upgrade it once by I think it's defeating a boss, you can then upgrade it and it becomes like Berserker Kirby, where he has this like giant like green armor and huge sword that like
He has
does
a
a lot of damage.
comically large sword.
Yeah, and it does like a lot of damage, big swings. It's really funny. And this like, the more you upgrade your abilities, the better they get. Like for example, like the fire ability, you can upgrade it to be a just like a straight up dragon. So you're like flying around in like a fiery dragon form and dealing like a bunch of damage. Um, the bomb ability, you can upgrade them to be homing bombs and like just like stand there while your little bomb army
Yeah.
kills the entire
Dude, the
like,
thing I love about this upgrade system so much, that and like the new ways you use the abilities, is like some of the abilities like I never gave a rat's ass about in the older games. I actually really like now. Bomb, I used to like, it was like kind of a ability whenever I used it
yeah,
in the old games.
yeah, because you could only, I mean, it was like very one note. You just throw the bomb and they die.
Yeah, but now with like, I can throw bombs in every direction, and with me being able to do that, I can spread out multiple bombs. They can have a chain link together and then home in on the enemy and explode for crazy amounts of damage. That's actually a lot of fun to use versus just throwing a couple bombs on the ground or in the air. And
Yeah.
then like other basic abilities too, like Needle. I used to
Oh
like
yeah.
hate Needle in the old games. You just literally spike out like a porcupine. You can maybe jump into the air to get some mobility with it, but like it was just never all that interesting to use versus a lot of the other abilities.
Yeah.
But now, it's actually I think one of my favorite abilities in the game,
Yeah,
because
because what
you
they
turn it.
did is
Yeah,
you explain if
yeah,
you want.
you put the spikes out like a porcupine, and then you roll around like Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're just hitting everything in your direction. You'll have enemies that stick out on the spines. It's just so much fun to use, especially when you get the upgraded abilities, where the spikes are even larger and they shoot out little projectiles as well. Like crystal spikes, I was using that in the end game a lot, even though it wasn't as good as some of the other absurd upgraded abilities,
Yeah.
because it was just a
Like,
lot of fun.
Needle is a great ability for like the levels because if as long as you roll over an enemy, most of the time they'll get stuck on it, and then when you exit the form, they just get dealt a bunch of damage. It's a very fun ability,
Yeah.
especially with the new mobility they gave it.
Yeah, there's some fun I want to mention with all these abilities. Like, they did lessen the amount, but sort of like I think how a lot of new fighting games have like maybe their casts are a lot smaller versus the old games. They usually make the cast a lot more diverse, and they work on them a lot more to give them like more well-rounded movesets.
Unless you're Smash
You know,
Brothers, in which case you have like 80 characters.
yeah, unless you're Smash Bros. But Smash Bros is like a very weird exception because
Yeah.
no other. I don't think there's any other game that's coming out with that many characters other than like fucking Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yeah.
Which I don't
But,
need to mention why I'm pretty sure that one isn't an Evo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but they
I
have some.
completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to mention like they show you little ways as well to take advantage of them, because like to upgrade the abilities, you have these extra little other dimension levels, which are like just basically small time challenges. They give you like star fragments to upgrade your abilities, and in those levels, they usually evolve around like just one gimmick of it. So like the needle ability, like we mentioned, if you hit an enemy, you'll keep being able to use your needles and keep rolling over stuff until you let go. There's an entire level which the way to beat it the fastest is to literally just keep rolling it into enemies and just become this giant whirlpool of destruction until you let it all out at the end, and then boom, you get the star fragment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really like I love those little side level because they're just fun side challenges, but they also like, as you said, they allow you to get a better grasp of the upgraded abilities, so you know what they do. Like the
What's one of your favorite abilities, Connor?
mine would have to be either the max upgraded form of sword or dragonfire. I think the dragonfire ability is really fun because it changes the fire dash into you become like a giant fiery dragon and you like dash forward. And I think it's a really fun because it adds more mobility to fire, which I mean, as you know, fire is a very stationary ability where you have to like stand still to get most of your damage. So being able to have that little extra burst of mobility that also deals a good amount of damage, I think it's a very fun ability and also a very just good ability.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would mention more of the max upgraded version of sword, but it is a bit of a spoiler. But we'll probably go into spoilers more near the end, like a little spoilery segment.
Yeah, I think some other the two new abilities, I want to shout them out real quick because like with this being in a 3D space, they had a little more leeway with how the abilities could be used and how you move with them. So the first one they have is drill. I don't like this one as much as the other one because it doesn't do as much for you in combat. But basically, you drill into the ground, and then after charging up for a bit, you like jump out with this drill attack. And also you can use this to navigate around a level, moving under enemies. You'll be invulnerable. That, and you can move under gates that you normally wouldn't be able to get around to find a lot of secret items. And then in the upgraded form, like you have a bunch of extra like drills and saws sticking out while you're underground, so you'll deal damage even without the charged attack.
Yeah, I also want to mention the cutter upgrade, because like it's just really funny because you just get a buzzsaw stuck to your head and you're just shooting it out constantly. It's really funny.
Dude, some of these upgraded abilities are really funny because a lot of them is just like way over the top. Like you'll have basic needle, and then you'll have clutter needle, which looks like they just duct taped all of Home Depot onto you and it's sticking out while you're
Yeah.
rolling around.
Yeah, exactly. I also like the hammer upgrade because you start out with the hammer and then you go into squeaky hammer, which is super funny.
Yeah, but then you get like comically large hammer.
Yeah, and then you can get DDD hammer, which gives you two hammers.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these are like a little overtuned, but I mean it's a Kirby game, so it's fine.
Yeah, I like I'm not. I'm like personally for me when I'm going into a Kirby game, I'm not looking for balance. I'm looking for what is the stupidest and most fun ability I can use to just absolutely wreck shit.
Yeah, I think another one that's like it's not as engaging but like a lot of fun is like the new Ranger ability,
Oh, I
which
love
I kind
Ranger.
of feel like they could have converted Bo into this, but maybe they just wanted a straight new ability, and maybe Bo will be in another 2D game if they do that. But Ranger is fun because like it will just you can just aim at like any direction in the screen, which like with Bo, obviously 2D space you can only aim so far, but like Ranger's full 3D.
Hmm.
And it was just so fun just like sniping enemies from a long distance that are just like against bosses, charging up big attacks and just letting it rip, and then as they're rolling towards me, using like the new dodge roll Kirby has to get out of the way.
Yeah, I think Ranger is a really fun ability. Like Space Ranger, just being able to fire out a giant. It reminds me of the beam ability from Planet Robobot of like when you're in the mech and you get the beam ability when you're able to just charge that up and let out a giant.
Oh yeah,
laser.
that are kind of like a Spark and Return to Dreamland. How you could like shake the Wiimote while playing and then let out a giant spark that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, exactly. I think Space Ranger is a really fun ability too.
Even
I'm
if it's busted.
yeah. it's been a I hope for the next 3D Kirby game, which let's hope they do another 3D Kirby game, that we get like more like returning abilities, because I could see them doing a really cool like thing with Bow, where it's a lot more like I guess like uh instead of it being like aiming and stuff like that, it'd be more like what is it, like I guess like Monster Hunter Poe
Oh, I
in
think
a
I kind of
way.
give. I was just about to say that myself, to where like Ranger, you'll have maybe more range because it's a lot of beams and it's like bullets.
Mhm.
But the Archer maybe could stay in closer. You don't have as much range as it, but you can still keep somewhat of a distance. But you'll deal a lot more damage for having to be in closer.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. But um yeah, I think they did just in general a really good job with the copy abilities in this game. And again, like really my only like quote unquote criticism of this game would be that I just want more copy abilities, because I think they could do a lot more with them. But again, I understand why they kept it so limited, because the upgrade gimmick is already like, because like if you counted like each upgrade as like its own unique ability, then there'd be a lot more. But
Yeah,
um,
technically there'd be around like 40 something abilities if that was the
yeah,
case.
yeah, exactly. And I can definitely see that argument, because a lot of them do play different than their than of their versions of them. Like for
Yeah,
example, like
very different.
yeah, like for example, like I mentioned Hammer and Squeaky Hammer. With Squeaky Hammer, again, I'm pretty sure with Squeaky Hammer you can get like a little jump boost if you like do an attack, because it's a Squeaky Hammer, so you get like a little jump, and so you can like just use that extra mobility. Whereas with like regular Hammer, your whole thing is like getting close, dealing a lot of damage, being like very stationary in order to get as
Yeah,
many hits as
that are
possible.
like the other upgrades for hammer, like the final main upgrade. Like you just get a comically large hammer. That one gives you a lot more range. But then the DDD hammers, like shorter range, but you can be a lot more aggressive with
and
them.
I and quicker, I'm pretty sure too. Like they all play very different from each other, which I really respect.
Yeah,
Because
which there's it is also good that they give you the option if you want to like turn off like some of the higher powered abilities, you can like revert back to use the
yeah,
other
it
ones.
doesn't cost anything, I think.
Yeah, that and also some of the challenges are centered around the ability upgrades. So sometimes like you can't just use ability number 3, you have to use ability number 2.
Hmm.
But then also like sometimes you need ability 3 for one of the challenges, because like I remember one of the fire ones, you were incentivized to use like the dragonfly attack a whole bunch to like quickly get through the level while setting off all these switches to
Yeah.
get to the end. Like that's just very well designed, but also it's ability specific, so you have a reason to use one over another maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I really again, I really respect how they were able to just make all these abilities feel very different from each other, even though they're using the same base.
Yeah,
Um,
I think next thing to move on to with abilities though is what I like to call the gimmick abilities. A lot of
yeah,
these past Kirby games have had these where it's just like the new big thing that's put on the box to like sell the game. Like Return to Dreamland had like, I don't remember what exactly they were called. I think maybe star abilities or something. Just like you would find a special enemy and you get these like giant abilities, like giant sword, giant fire, all that. Those are pretty fun. Planet Robobot had the Robobot in it that would have a
is it?
bunch of upgraded versions of the copy abilities.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it controversial to say I think the mech abilities are the best gimmick abilities we've had so far?
No, they by far are the best gimmick abilities. You also had Hypernova and Triple Deluxe, but like all the ones I just mentioned are not as good as the Robobot armor, especially for level design and just combat. But I think the mouthful mode still does a really good job, especially with the new 3D environment as well.
Yeah, because I think like the mouthful mode, whereas with the Robobot, and I do apologize, I'm going to be mentioning Robobot a lot because it's really the only gimmick ability I've played with in a Kirby game. Um, but with mouthful mode, it's a lot more about puzzle solving, whereas I think with the Mac, it was a lot more of like just really broken abilities.
Well, no, I'd argue there's some puzzle
Yeah,
solving
no,
in
there
there,
definitely
but
was puzzle
I think
solving,
the
but
mouthful abilities, like, they do lean more into like just puzzles because you don't really use them in like I think any boss battles at all.
besides like maybe a few select examples, but yeah, I think
I think it is fair though, because like in Robobot, the armor functioned for like combat reasons and for puzzle reasons. With the upgraded copy abilities, you kind of be taking away some of the flair if the mouthful abilities were just completely busted and revolved around them. So I think they're still powerful, but they're more so just for the level design,
yeah, exactly.
which I like, you know.
Yeah, it's really good. What is your favorite mouthful ability that we get to
I have
uh
names for all these, like I think
yeah,
you do as well.
me and Brewer have come
It's
up
like
with
you have the
funny ones.
classic, you have Kirby, but then you
Yeah.
have like also the vending machine, which I call the Curve Vendor. I like that one a lot, just shooting out a bunch of cans at enemies, and then it can also take out metal blocks that are blocking the path for some puzzles. I think the ring or the curb ring was really good as well, especially when you get on a boat. You could put out little puffs of air that would let you navigate through the level and like turn the boat in different directions.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think my favorite one, like you don't use it a lot, but and it like in all means, it's not a very good one, but it's definitely gonna be the staircase one, or as I like to call it, curb case, because he makes the stupidest, silliest little face whenever he's in the ability, and I think it's hilarious.
It's really funny because like you'll it makes no sense because then with the hypernova ability and just like Kirby in general, he sucked up like whole galaxies and stuff, but then for some reason he can't suck up the car.
Yeah,
My
it's
like head canon is just because it's a whole different world. Well, I mean, that hasn't stopped Kirby before, but because it's a really weird new world, it's like ruins of our world. He can't suck up some of these weird artifacts, but instead he uses them.
yeah.
That's why he can power on the car, even though it definitely should not power on at this point. Connor's Toyota should not power up anymore.
Yeah, it has been fully consumed by the curb.
At this point, it has like 600,000 miles on it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I really like the mouthful abilities. Like, some of them are a lot less useful than others. Like, for example, the staircase one, you can only do it to just move a staircase.
I mean, you can still smash into some enemies, but the staircase is more so there because they removed the like infinite jump thing.
Yeah,
So now you actually would need the staircase to get up to some higher elevations.
yeah. Kirby can't cheat the system anymore.
You also have like the light bulb or the curb bulb, which like that one isn't as interesting, but it's more so relies on the level than like its direct ability. Because a lot of times you'll use it to like light up dark areas, but sometimes you want to be careful with how much you're using it because like some basic like enemies that are I like to call them moths, even though they aren't moths, just because they'll chase you when the light's on. So you gotta like be careful when you use it, you know. Then like use it to charge up some areas with like solar power.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I like especially the fan one, or I guess it's called the ring one, where you just like blow out gusts of air. That one's also like just a really fun one because A, he looks very silly, and B, you can actually deal damage by just blowing down
Yeah.
the enemies with your wind gusts.
Well, that they do a good job at like interacting with the environment as well. Since like the ring like can blow up big piles of dirt in some of the levels to like uncover like some treasure chest or like some hidden spots in the level.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of Gus Bellows from Skyward Sword.
Yeah. I know, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I really like the mouthful abilities, but I think something else that we should move on to would have to be the probably. I mean, you just said it before, but how do all these abilities and stuff like that interact with the world and the levels and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, the levels in the world. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game's setting. I didn't think it would be Planet Robobot could be tops, but I do think there is a more interesting world here. Because like it's the abandoned ruins of like basically our world, which is why Kirby can find things like our cars and then the
vending
vending
machines.
machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, because like the settings like for where you find all these items make a lot of sense. Like, oh, you'll find like this old dealership. Oh, you found this theme park. Oh, you're in the mall for this level, and now you're in the food court, Kirby's safe place.
Yeah. Um, I think this again. I said it at the beginning, but I really think they did a great job of like interpreting classic Kirby level design into this game because it's really fun. And I do agree. I really like how the game uses the like destroyed remnants of human civilization to like to its advantage and make really fun levels. I mean, like you have the theme park world, which is it's just a full like incredibly fun time throughout.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love the little roller coaster you go on as well in the game.
Yeah.
That and just like there's a bunch of spinning carousels that you'll be on top of, so you'll be spinning in all directions, and then you'll have to be navigating the level. That or a bunch of amusement park bots are just like running around in circles, so you have to like keep dodging around them. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Um like what's your favorite world?
Honestly, I think it has to go like to the theme park area. I just really enjoyed the music for that area as well, so I think that's what made it memorable. Because it's just like really upbeat tone that's like just was a lot of fun to jump around in. Actually felt
Yeah.
like I was at an amusement park riding on a roller coaster or something.
Yeah, my it's hard to beat theme park. It's just such a fun world. I think mine might be the beach area. I think it's just such a nice like it's just good vibes, you know?
It is good vibes, the level. I like all the enemies that are just like chilling in little tubies or something.
Yeah. And I anytime I see those guys, I'm like unless I have to fight them, I just leave them alone because like I don't want to ruin their day, man.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I do think there was like one level I remember like one of the extra little goals. There was a sleeping enemy, and instead of attacking it, if you sucked up the sleep ability that was right nearby, you could sleep with the enemy, and that would give you one of the secret
Oh
missions.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I remember that one constantly because it's just such a cute and like one that you could reasonably get without like having to get the like little hints.
Yeah, that was fun. I will say some of the levels, hidden missions, it was kind of annoying when you had to go back through an entire level because like of some hidden mission that was like, oh yeah, this random guy that was sitting on the toilet that you didn't that the door wasn't even obvious to break down. You had to kill him, and that was a mission.
Yeah, I will say that is another one of my criticisms of this game is like I wish there was like a checkpoint system of like you can jump to a specific point back to closest to where that hidden mission is instead of having to go all the way through the level in
Yeah, I mean,
order
like
to
it's not bad because the levels like they're short enough
they're
in
short,
length.
yeah, they are short, and once you like know what to do, they can be pretty fast. It's still just a little annoying.
Yeah, I think like some of the older games had this issue as well, but like it isn't always even that bad. It's like a minor gripe at most, to where
Mhm.
like, oh, there's this code cube I need, but oh, it was for this like one enemy I had to suck up, and now I'm too far in the level to go back and get it, so I need to restart the level and go in with this specific copy ability to get it. Like
Yeah,
for the most part, most of them you can always go back and get, but there's just always a couple that are just like, yeah, you got to replay through the level boss. So you're
yeah,
definitely, if you want to get everything, you're definitely not doing all the levels first try, or like most of them first try.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I still think they all had a really good vibe to them, and I enjoyed exploring every little nook and cranny of the level. That or sometimes I was just like, where can I go? But then I see like, oh, this looks like kind of an open path. I would go through it, and then boom, I get like some nice little scenery, or I found like a secret portion of the level that gets me that gets me like a secret blueprint to upgrade my ability or something. Like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just really like a lot of the way they're built around.
Yeah,
I
I think
remember one time we were at Guy's place and you were actually playing through this game and we were doing the two player mode and we were like not I wouldn't say stuck, but we were struggling on that one like little hidden room in the I think it was the beach area,
Oh yeah.
and you figured out, oh, you have to use drill here, and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kirby games in general do a good job of that. To where, like, again, on the surface, the levels can like not have too much to interact with, but like when you do every single bit of what the level has to offer, you'll just find
Yeah.
that much more enjoyment. Again, that's why I think it's good for all types of players,
Hmm.
because they make it to where you can play how you want to, but you're not forced to always like interact with every single bit. You can just run through a level with a busted ability if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But they still make sure you interact with it enough by like having those, like, you need a certain amount of waddle-dees to unlock the bosses, which is a good segue to the bosses.
Oh my god, that was such a good segue, Brewer.
Oh my god.
True, but yeah, there are a lot of like bosses in this game, and I think a lot of them are like really fun and good. Um, my personal favorite would have to be um, the masked DDD second fight. I think it's Fuego DDD. It's just a really fun fight.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. He charges you at like a wild beast. And I like that whenever you dodge a crazy attack like that, at the last moment, you get like this cool slow-mo effect where you can get a bunch of
Yeah,
extra hits in. So
yeah,
sort of
exactly.
like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, just to a lesser degree, where you don't get like a flurry rush, but you get a couple extra attacks in.
Yeah, a lot of I've noticed a lot of Nintendo games have started doing this like time stop perfect dodge thing. Like, what's next? Is Mario gonna be able to dodge in the next Mario game and just get a bunch of stomps on the boss's head?
Yeah, on the Switch too, if you get a perfect dodge while jumping off of Cappy, you get like 3 extra ground pounds on the boss.
Yeah, absolute like crazy damage.
I thought that
And
wasn't probably already a speedrun strategy in Odyssey for some bosses.
yeah, and then in Pikmin, if you perfect dodge, you get to throw a million Pikmin. Oh my goodness.
Dude, imagine getting a million purple Pikmin thrown at you. I would kill myself before that landed.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. 1 million purple Pikmin.
I
Yeah.
kind of wonder how much do you think a million purple Pikmin is? Because like in Pikmin 2, like they can lift like that dumbbell when there's like 100 purple Pikmin. So like a million purple Pikmin could definitely lift up a whole person, like a giant ant colony, and like destroy them, turn them into Pikmin.
True. Just like lifting up like your average Joe, and like you know that like what Hulk does to Loki in the first Avengers movie.
Oh yeah, slams and puny god.
Yeah, that's what the purple Pikmin army will do.
Yeah, dude, we need like, there's like those conversions of like how many SpongeBob's could this character defeat, like Goku versus 25 million SpongeBob's.
Yeah.
Like we need that for purple Pikmin, but for real life objects. Purple Pikmin versus this tank. Well, how many purple Pikmin do we need to win?
Exactly. That's that's really funny.
Purple Pikmin versus the U.S. military. How many do
Purple
we need?
Pikmin versus a nuclear missile.
How many purple Pikmin do I need to throw? Or how many purple Pikmin do I need to where they can climb up like a mountain and just grab any plane out of the sky?
How many purple Pikmin do we need in order to lift an entire mountain from the ground?
Yeah. Purple Pikmin are crazy.
Purple Pikmin are the most broken thing in fiction.
Yeah, I think moving away from purple Pikmin, I want to look at some of the crazy bosses as well, because a lot of them were just really fun. Like, I like the silly Dillo as well. He had a
Oh
lot of energy to him.
yeah.
He was like kind of crazy. It kind of felt like he was like a cave dweller as well, because like you walk in and he has like a bunch of like Kirby plushes and stuff like hanging around that he made. I'm like, okay, we're fighting a fanboy.
Bro's at literally an incel.
Yeah,
Kirby incel.
I think one of
My
his attacks too. He brings out like a giant doll that he dances with or something and swings around.
it's literally his like e-girlfriend. He's the guy who
He's swinging
made
around the
Absolute
body
Equal.
pillow.
Yeah, it's his body pillow. Yeah, I like that fight. It's just fun. It's silly. I mean, hence the name Silly Dillo.
Yeah.
Another fight I really like is I think it's called Tropic Woods. which continues the tradition of remixed of just having Wispy in every Kirby game because it's funny.
Yeah, Kirby says fuck them trees.
He is not Mr. Beast, which, depending on now, is better for better or worse.
Nah, I say more like Smoky Bear. We gotta save the trees from the forest fire. Kirby,
Bro,
and then Kirby runs in with the dragon fire ability.
true, but I really like this remix of Tropic Woods. I even think as much as I like the Mecha Woods from Robobot, I think this is a probably one of the best remixes of Wispy we've gotten because he actually does more things than just sit there and throw apples and blow wind at you.
Yeah, Mega Woods was good, especially because that just actually reminded me of something of like some of the 2D Kirby games we've had that have tried to implement some form of 3D. Like Mecha Woods had like that giant circular arena, sort of
Yeah.
like the Banjo Kazooie stage of Smash that would actually spin around when you spin with it or when you
Mhm.
run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
but now actually having like a Wispy Woods in 3D, that
it's really
it
good.
manages to
Like,
do a lot with it,
yeah,
especially with all the vine attacks he has and stuff.
he'll like rain down giant coconuts that like you have to dodge. He'll like use his roots to bring up giant gates that you have to like maneuver around in order to get it in to damage him. It's just really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. I loved it.
Um, but I think we should now maybe go into our spoiler section to talk about some of the late game bosses because the late game bosses are crazy.
Yeah, so this is probably the last thing we'll talk about. So if you want to click off for now to not ruin the surprise for yourself, thank you for watching this video of Fetch Quest. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe comment one of your favorite abilities. And thank you again for watching this video.
But
But
it's
if you're going to stay for these next couple of minutes, spoiler section in 3, 2, 1.
Elfilin is um the giant bad guy, and he says, "Fuck you, Kirby. I was evil the whole time."
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that actually does not happen though.
It's kind of
But
crazy because before the game released, everyone was like, "I don't trust this dubious little creature."
yeah,
You
I
know that
love
one
that
video with the
meme.
guy that's like,
Yeah,
the dubious little
I was
creature."
about to, Brewer. We once again continued the joke of we're the same person because I was about to reference the exact same thing before you said it
Dude,
first.
it's such a funny little video because
I
they're showing
I
images
was
of this cute little like flying squirrel thing,
yeah.
and it's just the devil incarnate rises again.
Yeah, this dubious little creature. These nefarious plans
What
to
does
perform
Satan's apostle have planned for us?
exactly.
But no, he's just a cute little guy. The most
He's a
evil thing
little
he does
dude.
is like take up Kirby's bed and then Kirby's sleeping on the floor or something.
Exactly. But this game has some really cool final fights. With my personal favorite fight being, or not like, but obviously Fuego DDD is already my favorite fight. But like, I love the Elphalus fight because he's the ultimate life form, just like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, the lore for him is just like it was what was it, this alien life form that they were researching,
Yeah,
and the Elfalem we travel with is like the good portion of him that like kind of escaped out of the facility after they were separated somehow. But the portion we find is like the chaos. It was like the evil form.
yeah, exactly. We found the little guy, and then we later come to find
Eldritch horror.
Eldritch Horror.
Dude, I love Kirby final bosses that are Eldritch horrors.
I love killing God 90 times in a row.
I love realistic depictions of angels.
True. But yeah, no, the Elphys fight is so cool, especially like because like it can genuinely be pretty tough sometimes. Like if you've been going through the whole game and been like, yeah, it's a breeze. Like he'll sometimes catch you off guard, and
Yeah,
like
he'll have those like quick flying attacks towards you, and then
yeah,
he'll start projectile spamming like a Samus player. It's like, dude,
yeah.
this is crazy.
But the reason I love that fight so much is because at the end, you beam clash with him as a semi truck.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
it's like, oh man, that's really cool. You're a strong god and all, but can you fight
Can you fight
Can
the
you fight
power of America?
can you fight the patriotism of the semi truck of the oversized semi truck?
Now you might be an angel alien creature that is the spawn of Satan, but I got 40 beers in my stomach and I've got my keys. You stand no chance there.
I got my raised Ford Explorer, perfect for running over small children that are in my blind spot.
You know that
It's
image?
an 8-wheeler. All of them would drive.
Do you know that one image of the like truck and it's the dude with the huge muscly arm? He's looking at his phone. It's like, I love my wife, and he's about to run over a child.
I think I know that one. Yeah, it's used for a lot of memes online.
Yeah, that's what Kirby was doing with Elphalus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think another fight I really want to talk about real quick before we go over to our concluding points is the probably one of the biggest lore drops in Kirby, that being Morpho Knight.
Oh yeah, Morpho Knight's been really cool, even though he's like only been in this game and I think Star Allies.
I don't Was he in Star Allies?
He was in Star Allies. That's where he debuted.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always really cool because like he's kind of taken the spot of Galactonite, but I really like him because the thing with Morphinite compared to Galactonite, Galactonite just has always had his set moveset, but with Morphinite, like he's inspired from Galactonite, but he whatever he like absorbs, he also like kind of takes their elements. So like when he basically we find him in like this kind of nightmare realm where like one of the B Squad's friends are trapped in, and they ask us to save him, even though they
Yeah.
literally did try to kill us. But it's fine. Kirby makes friends with everybody.
Yeah, he's a silly little guy, dude.
He's a silly little guy, and we love him. But yeah, while we're trying to save him, he absorbs like I think the Chaos Elflin, and like he has their elements. So now Morphinite also has some of those like crazy ball attacks and stuff, along
Yeah,
with his giant sword swings.
yeah, it's such a cool fight too, especially because of like for me, I had no idea he was in Star Allies. So for me, learning that it was like I got exposed to it for the first time. So learning that the butterfly that's always like landing on Kirby's head is in fact a like space warrior that absorbs its prey in order to take their abilities is like holy shit. And it's like, I just thought that was
And
super
the reason he
cool.
can't absorb Kirby is because like Kirby does the same. He's the absorber. They can't absorb
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it like recontextualizes a lot of stuff, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that and the reason he's in the Forgotten Land as well is because you could see in the opening cutscene the butterfly was sucked up.
Yeah. I just think it's like it's just such cool attention to detail, and it's just a fun fight. And plus after you beat him, you can get his abilities too. So you're just able to like wreck shit on like tiny little animal dudes.
Yeah, pull out the God Slayer sword in front of fuzzy little fox.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Morphonite charge sword. Whoo, bam!
Really cool argument you got there, Senator. But Morpho Knight Charge Sword, go!
That yeah, exactly. But if we have nothing else to talk about, I feel like this is where we had our concluding points.
Yeah, concluding points. You want to go first, Connor?
Sure. Yeah. This was I think I want to say this was the first Kirby game I ever like beat. I don't say
Really?
play. Yes, I don't say play because when I was a kid, I played Kirby's Epic Yarn. But I was stupid and I got stuck at one part, and so I just never beat it.
Bro,
But
Connor, you really got soloed by Kirby's Epic Yarn.
listen, I was a stupid like 6-year-old.
Bro, that's
So
crazy. Not me.
yeah, but I this is the first Kirby game I ever beat, and I'm really glad it was this one because it's just a fun time. It's just a like it's not. I'm not gonna say it's like one of the best video games I've ever played, but it's still really good. It's just a fun time. You get to use all these fun abilities and stuff like that. Um, and it's just a really I mean, I keep saying it's a fun time, but like I don't think there's any better way to describe this game if it's just a fun new step in the direction of like where I feel like where Kirby should go. Because obviously I love like some of the 2D games like Robobot. The originals are pretty fun too, but You know, I'm, just fully down for like the future of Kirby being new 3D games with like cool new powers and bosses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think my concluding points is Forgotten Land is a really good step in a new direction for the Kirby series. While I do love all the 2D games, like a 3D platformer was a long time coming for Kirby, and they knocked it out of the park with this first one. I do think
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
maybe more they could do with it, especially with the level design. Maybe next one you'll have more of a free camera because it was a lot of locked positions.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, again, minor gripes, and that kind of be subjective to like maybe lock camera is better for a lot of these levels. But again, it was just such a fun game. I loved all the copy abilities, the way they were revamped for 3D. That and being able to upgrade every single one of them made a lot of them more interesting to use. That and abilities like Needle that I could never give a damn about in the past games. They were a lot of fun to use in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the levels were really fun to explore, and I just love the mouthful mode as well. It felt goofy for like Kirby wise, and in the levels they were a lot of fun to use. The bosses had a lot of flair to them. Overall, it's just a really great little 3D platformer. Doesn't take too long to beat. I would highly recommend you play it. And I just really hope they make another game like it for the Switch 2 in the future.
Yeah.
Because it
There's
visually
just
looks really good as well.
Yeah, this this means one thing, Brewer. The next step for Kirby is open world Kirby game.
No, it's more like Mario Odyssey, Kirby's Odyssey.
Kirby's Kirby's Breath of the Odyssey.
Open world Kirby would go crazy.
Yeah, it's just like you have to kill God in 4 separate corners of the map to kill Ultra God.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, I think we're done here. So we have been Fetch Quest. This was our video on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that subscribe button with your Kirby hammer power
Yeah.
up.
Maybe comment your favorite copy ability, like we mentioned before. Maybe what was one of your favorite upgrades in a game. And then if you like this video, hit it down with charged Morpho Night Slash.
Yeah, slash that like button with the Morpho Blade. But we have been Fetch Quest, and we will see you all next time.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
everybody. Thank you for watching.